Wonderful. Everybody, I see you. So do you see the slides, the PowerPoint's up? You can hear me okay? Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, first of all, like I was saying here just off the top, I want to thank you and really appreciate the time, the attention that you guys are taking tonight to be here live and listening to this presentation. I know life can be busy and there's a lot of obligations and tasks going on. It's right in the middle of the summer on a Wednesday night, so I definitely want to thank you for taking the time and truly appreciate that to be here. It's allowing me to do what I love to do, and that's sharing, talking about rent to own and JAAG's rent to home solution. It's something that over the last almost 10 years, it's become a great passion for me, and I'm getting to do that tonight. If you guys weren't here, it would be really awkward me doing this by myself. So thank you guys for being here tonight. A little bit about myself before we get started. My name is Alfonso Salemi. I'm one of the co-founders, along with my business partner, Adam Wissink, of JAAG Properties. I'm a new dad. I have a beautiful young baby boy, Giacomo, who's just turned 10 months. I'm engaged to the love of my life. Life's good. Life's good right now. I love business. I love talking about business, different strategies, and how it can help people. So I'm truly passionate about helping others succeed. A little bit about JAAG Properties and who we are. We provide tenant buyers an opportunity. Yeah, you heard that right. Tenant buyers, because they're tenants first, and then they become buyers. We provide tenant buyers an opportunity to move in and enjoy immediate possession of their home before they can actually qualify for financing or before they can actually buy it themselves. We work with joint venture partners, probably why you're on here tonight. Maybe you're going to be a joint venture partner, but we work with joint venture partners, providing hassle-free investment opportunities and allowing anyone looking to expand their real estate portfolio. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about us, but enough about that. What we're here to talk about tonight is, where do you invest that hard-earned money? You guys are all working or, have jobs. There's a way you have to make income. You need money in this world and you're working hard for it, but how do you get it to work hard for you? And where do you invest that hard-earned money? So typically, I'm going to cover the four most popular, I guess, well, definitely three of the investment types that you can put your hard-earned money into, right? So let's talk about the stock market. It's typically a passive investment. There's not a lot of work involved. It's kind of easy to buy. There's different apps or programs on your phone. You can kind of be that self-broker, and typically you don't need a lot of money to get started into the stock market. You can do it relatively with a low amount of capital. But it can be a little bit risky, right? If you're not knowing what you're investing in, all the different types of stocks, the time to actually research what stocks to buy, when to buy them, how to buy them, when not to buy them, when they're going up or going down, all those types of things. And there's a little bit of a lack of control in the stock market. You can't really, control the stock market. It's going to do what the stock market does. You're going to read about it. You're going to see it. You're going to look at the charts, but you can't really control it. So maybe it's a little bit too volatile, right? That's something that you can think about. Then we get into RRSPs and GICs. Typically, you're investing in these because you want a little bit of protection, some security, right? Thinking about your retirement, long-term, right? What's that legacy? How are you going to live in the future? But then there's the cost to access. If you need to break those or take those out or get access to those funds, those can be costly, right? To actually do penalties or fees that you're going to have to pay. And in general, I think the returns are a little bit lower, in comparative to other investment strategies, right? And that might be a little bit of a loss of potential if you're not investing in maybe something that's bringing or yielding a higher return. So maybe RSPs and GICs are a little too conservative, right? So then we get into real estate, right? Obviously, my personal favorite, JAAG's rent-to-home solution falls right into that category, dead on. But there's all different types of real estate, right? You have your multifamily, there's commercial investing, there's REITs, private lending, all different types of ways you can invest in real estate. And the reason why you'd want to do that is because you want cash flow, right? You want your money working for you. You want make that money come back to you a little bit, right? And typically you're going to get some really good returns, excellent returns on real estate. Obviously it's in the news and real estate's crashing. But there's some good things about real estate as well too, about the tax advantages that you can have, right? If you have a good accountant and you're operating as a business, the tax advantages that real estate brings to you. And, it's an appreciating asset. Typically it's over time. it's going to go up. People always need somewhere to live, rest their head. And, real estate's not really going to go out of style, right? What's the old saying? They're not making more of it, well, like the physical earth, but they're making as much as they can, right? And still not keeping up, especially around where we are. A lot of people here in the GTA. But there are some barriers to entry, and some things that are hard to get into real estate. The capital and the money that you need to actually invest, right? Typically, it's a little bit higher. If it's not your primary residence, you're looking at 20% of higher purchase prices, right? So that might be a little bit difficult to kind of come up with. And then we get into the property and renter management, right? So the dealings with making sure the property is in good working order, it's being maintained, all the services and checks are followed up with. And then we talk about the tenants, the renters that are in these properties, making sure they're paying on time, and the issues that they have. Their life situations affect you because they can't pay on time, or there's different types of issues, right? So it's really hands-on, and there's a lot of time involved in real estate, right? So some overviews, and then finally it brings me to another type of investing, a different type of investing you may or may not have heard of, and it's impact investing. And tonight you guys are here because you want a return on the impact that you're making. You want a return on your investment, that's granted, but you also want a return on the impact that you're making in people's lives, right? A socially responsible investing where you can get returns and get great returns while contributing and improving to the communities that you live in, you work in, and that you're a part of, right? So some examples of that, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, attainable housing. That sounds interesting, right? Attainable housing, right? So how do you do that? What are the things that you can do to put that money to work, right? And it is frustrating not knowing which one to choose, right? There's conservative and low returns, a lot of time involved. And I didn't even talk about, Bitcoins, NFTs, the plethora of different investment strategies. Running shoes, really? Running shoes? Listen, I love a pair of MJs, Jordans, a fresh pair of Jordans for sure. But do you see some of the prices that now it's considered an investment, right? Rare, different types of things. So it can be confusing. And if you don't have that time or lack that expertise in certain areas, it's frustrating, right? It can be overwhelming. And you don't have the time to dig into those details or find someone or trust someone to do it for you and actually create some consistent returns. And that there's a fear of missing out, right? You want to take action. You need to take action. You're losing money if you don't. You hear about your neighbors and your friends and your families that are investing, right, for their future and their financial plans, right? Or at least they're telling you. At least they're telling you that they're doing that, right? But that if you don't invest, you won't get further ahead. That's plain and simple, right? And you can't do nothing. So you want your money working for you somehow. And what we believe is you shouldn't have to choose between making an impact, making a difference, and making money. You can have both. You can make a great return as well as making an impact in people's lives and changing their course of their families, right? So I think you're probably wondering, like, who's this handsome guy? We're talking about, returning on investment, helping families. Talked a little bit about JAAG. I got a feeling he's going to ask for some money. He's talking about money, investing in money, but I want to tell you a little bit about who JAAG is first. Okay. So, and how you can generate hassle-free returns while creating a positive impact. With over 225 rent-to-home projects, JAAG successfully worked with over 100 individual joint venture partners. That's over 100 different, individuals, different families that have invested, and we've provided hassle-free, hands-off, with a great rate of return, with the security and stability that you want. And for almost 8 years now, along with our partners, we've been making a positive social impact in all the lives and the partners that we work with. So we're a proud diamond level member of CAROP. That's the collective voice of rent-to-own professionals across Canada, operating ethically, striving to create successful outcomes for their clients, their investors, and their programs. And actually, I currently sit as the president of the Canadian Association of Rent-to-Own Professionals. So in 2021, last year, my business partner and the co-founder, Adam Wissink, was awarded the London Inc. Magazine's 20 Under 40 Award for the excellence in the London area. And just recently, JAAG's been selected as one of the top 4 small businesses by the London Chamber of Commerce. We're really hoping to come in that first place. And that's going to be announced later next month. So these things are not, to brag a little bit, maybe just a little bit, but this really goes to show our commitment to continuous improvement, raising our standards professionally and personally so that we are affecting positively the communities where we work and live in as well too. So, all right, enough about that. How are you putting people first, profit second, and really creating a win-win-win solution? So you might be asking yourself, how does it work, right? How does it all get started? How are you doing? It sounds all great. How do we get started? Okay, so first, we're going to want to learn a little bit more about you. You're going to want to learn a little bit more about us. That is common. That's no problem. We get that. So how do we do that? We're going to see, set up some phone calls, talk a little bit about what your goals are, determine what that time frame and investment level that you're comfortable with to move forward, getting pre-qualified, right? Working with a mortgage professional, your bank, to see what access of funds that you have available and that you're comfortable with. If you don't have someone specific that you like or work with, we can definitely recommend someone that can help you with that. You're going to want to know a little bit more about our program and how it works and who are the clients that we work with. Once we've determined that, we're going to start making an impact. You'll be matched with one of JAAG's approved tenant buyers. So we have a very comprehensive and in-depth screening process where we select the best of the tenant buyers that we want to work with. Okay, so they have to meet a certain qualification to get into our program. Once we've partnered the two together, we're going to go ahead and they're going to start searching for a home. They actually get to choose their home that they live in, right? That makes sense, right? We're not going to pick, we're not to pick the home that they want to live in. They're going to get to choose their home. They're going to work with a realtor and you're going to go ahead and purchase that home and they get to move in today. Then we start passively sending you monthly income every single month, right? You're going to collect your monthly ROI without any of the headaches of property management or people management or tenant management. That's all of our job. Leave it up to us. We are the liaison and the first point of contact between our tenant buyers and our investors. And we're managing that, reporting and sending information to our joint venture partners at least 3 times per year, that you'll be in touch and know what's going on, making sure that our clients are on the right track to qualify. Then finally, we help facilitate the sale of the home back to the tenant buyer at an appreciated value. We're completing that journey for that family, and now they're the new homeowners. So, and we do that over and over again, right? So we're getting set up. We're going to start that program, make sure that they're in the home that they want. Our joint venture partners are purchasing that property. We're going to start collecting that monthly ROI. We're managing the success of that program. So our clients are going to be successful and own that home. And then we sell that home back to them at the end of the program. The things that we put in place to make sure that everyone is protected and has, at least something to refer back to is the agreements that we set up. So our joint venture agreement, that's going to be between JAAG and yourself, our joint venture partners. That's going to outline all the details of your investment, how long, the capital investment required, the return of the investment, right? How often or how frequent those returns, and anything specific about what's involved in the management of the property and the program. Then we have our tenant lease agreement and our purchase option contract. That's going to be between you and the tenant buyer. And that covers all the specifics of the program. So the tenant lease is exactly what you're thinking, the tenant lease agreement. And then that purchase option contract, that's going to state how much our tenant buyers are putting towards their future down payment, what you're selling that home for, at what time in the future of that purchase option contract. That protects our tenant buyer, protects our joint venture partners. It's all outlined on the purchase option contract. And then finally, our social agreement. That is between everyone, between our tenant buyers, between our joint venture partners, between JAAG, all of our professional partners, the realtors, the mortgage brokers, insurance agents, lawyers, home inspectors, everybody that we work with, to make a commitment that we're going to improve society and achieve a win-win-win for everyone involved. We want the best for everyone that we're working with in these programs, and these are the social agreements. These things are not necessarily signed. It's more about how we said we get to know each other and you get to know us and the people that we're working with that we trust and build those relationships. So what do you need to do? What is the next step? You're here listening to this webinar. There's some point of interest. Maybe I've completely turned you off. Maybe you don't like my haircut. I did it myself this morning. But again, what do you need to do to get started, right? First of all, you're going to want to access our joint venture page. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Once you do that, you're going to be able to get access to some of our previous rent-to-home projects that we've worked on, real-life examples in cities, completed programs, programs that are currently in place, what average returns look like, average cash flow. You're going to get an overview of the full rent-to-home solution, how it works, the contracts and the negotiating, the things that are involved with purchasing the property and working with those professionals, and see how that works. So there are a limited amount of partnerships that are available. There are many opportunities that we're working with. We wish we could help everyone. Like I said, we're working with the tenant buyers and the clients that are going to be best suited for our program. So the opportunities are limited. So you're going to want to make sure that we get to that joint venture page. And we can, like I said, schedule a one-on-one call. We can discuss a little bit more, talk about what your goals, why you want to invest, what are the things that you're looking for, as well as get to know us a little bit better to see our systems and allow you to ask those questions. Awesome. So as we kind of get to the end of the presentation, or at least close to it, you're probably thinking, what does life look like, right? What if I'm going to invest? I'm not sure. There's something holding me back, or maybe you are gung-ho, you're ready to jump in right now. But let me paint a picture of what life will look like when you partner with JAAG Properties. You're going to receive predictable and stable returns. You're going to make a positive impact, enjoy hassle-free investing without any of the headaches or worries. You're going to work with a company that has a proven track record for success. So if that doesn't sound appealing to you, I don't know what does. Again, like I said, we're going to get to know each other a little bit better, talk about what you want to do. But before we end up, I want to actually share a real life example. Now, these aren't the actual tenant buyers. They're way too good looking, and that's way too high definition of a picture for a real life family. But this is just to share a story about real life tenant buyers that we've helped and we've worked with. So the tenant buyers, they're the young family in their late 30s. They've been married for almost 10 years with 2 children, both under the age of 8 or so. Okay. They wanted to live in the London area. That's where our head office and we're based out of, is London, Ontario. They wanted to live in London to be close to family, to their work, their children's schools. So they wanted to stay in that London area. They applied for our rent-to-home program. So some of the things that we look at is what their income is. So they had a total family income of $140,000, all right? He worked as a locksmith for almost 12 years. Now that's a good person to know in real estate, a locksmith. You never think about it, but keys, right? I know there's a lot more codes and stuff like that, but he's worked as a locksmith for over 12 years. And she was an administrative professional at the University of Western, and she was there for about 7 years or so. Their credit scores were okay. They weren't great, but they weren't terrible. So his credit score was 655. Hers was 608. Both had some consumer debt. Both had loans, lines of credit, things that they needed to clean up. So we started the rent-to-home program it was a 3-year period. And by the end of the 3 years, with our help, we have an in-house credit team that works with our clients to make sure that they're on track, whether it's making payments on time for credit cards, getting other lines of credit, giving them all the tips so that they can financially qualify. So in the 3 years, they improved their credit scores, got them well over 700. As soon as they got a 7 on the front of that credit score, that's a great number. They paid off their consumer debt, got it down to 0, right, over that 3-year period, and built that plan, putting it aside. They saved over a 7% deposit. Now we talk about that they provide at least a minimum of 3% down payment at the beginning of our program. So with the least 3 that they started with, they saved up over 7% by the end of the program. They qualified for their own mortgage at the bank, and got their financing, and now have, I think it's now over a year now that they've officially been homeowners and successfully own their home. So that's just one story out of, like I said, over 225 that I wanted to share. And it's something that it really gets me going. That young family, that trajectory has changed now. In, God willing, 10, 15, 20 years, when their kids grow up, maybe they're going to have equity in that house, right? And that's changed the trajectory for those people. So that's just a quick story that I wanted to share. And like I said, one of many. Getting down to some of the numbers, I know, for all of you that are those analytical and want to know the numbers, thanks for hanging on this long. I've seen the numbers go up and not go down on the participants, which is great. So a little bit of the overview of how the partnership and some of the requirements. Typically, the capital required for our joint venture partners are somewhere around 100 to 150,000. The length of the term, again, more often than not, 36 months or 3 years. Our programs can be anywhere between 2 and 4 years, and depending on the situation with our tenant buyers. The return on investment on average, over 3 years, you're going to be making 18% on the investment that you make. Okay, so or the 2 years or the 4, but typically 18% or more per year. And the monthly cash flow, again, $500 or more per month. So that's just kind of a quick overview of some of the numbers on what the investment, what's involved, how long, what type of returns, that monthly income. I call it that mailbox money or that email money now, because it comes either e-transferred or it comes right to your account or it's on your screen, right? That you'll get each month. So that's just a little bit of an overview. So I told you I'd show you how to register to get on our page. So it's jaagproperties.com/JVP, joint venture partner. So if you want to get onto that website, that's up and active and you can go and register right now. Myself, our team will be in touch. We'll be setting up calls, next steps on where to go. To get in touch with me, you can email me at alfonso@jaagproperties.com. We have our brand new, fresh, awesome website, jaagproperties.com, and definitely reach out if you want to talk to some really cool people and real cool staff. You can call 1-866-JAAG now, or tell your friends too as well too. But that's our contact info, how to get in touch with us. Again, I truly want to thank you for taking the time to be here tonight live, and taking that time, that attention, and sticking with me to the end here. We're going to get going with some questions. But again, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that you're here tonight, and happy to discuss a little bit more with you guys. So yeah, let's open it up to some questions.